Isn't it time for a new plan? I really don't think this plan for self destruction is a sensible or sustainable way to go. It wouldn't be a good look for us as a so called intelligent species with custody over a beautiful planet if the best we can do is to destroy our home and each other. I remember learning about the four horsemen of the apocalypse in Bible study as a child. The four horsemen would deliver the wrath of God in the forms of pestilence, war, famine, and death. My understanding of the lesson at the time was that the apocalypse was a warning to humanity of what would happen if we didn't get our act together. We were supposed to have learned something after the Great Flood. Later on in life, something happened that seemed really stupid at the time, but I was too busy enjoying my life to understand its importance. Here is Dr. Peter Carter explaining our strategic approach to global conflict resolution.
I want to address a question which has long been dear to me because I sort of started in my activism career, part-time activism and full-time doctoring, with a lot of young people my age in trying to get some sense out of the governments and leaders who were making bigger and bigger and more atom bombs and hydrogen bombs. And in those days, we were literally scared that this madness, it was called mutually assured destruction, a policy in which if both sides, US and USSR, kept on increasing their weapons so that they were about balanced, that was the best way to have peace. And people really believed this was the best way to have peace. But in retrospect now, we nearly blew the world up several times.
That's right. Mutually assured destruction. It sounds twice as stupid now than it did 40 years ago. Because basically, our global conflict resolution model is a game of chicken with nuclear weapons. Yet this crazy plan was implemented and it kicked off the nuclear arms race that we still find ourselves in.
Professor Brian Toon is an atmospheric scientist and an expert on nuclear winter.
Brian, level with me. How likely is an all-out nuclear war, and should I be finding a bunker right now?
You never know for sure, because that's one of the real terrifying things here is that one person in the United States and one person in Russia could decide all by themselves to have a nuclear conflict.
How many nukes are there around the world? Who has them?
There are about 14,000 nuclear weapons in the world. More than 1,000 of them are held by Britain, France, India, Pakistan, Israel, and China. Each of those countries has 200 or 300. Then Russia and the United States have 90% of the missiles.
So the lesson is everyone has nukes now.
This strategy also gave rise to decades of apocalypse and Armageddon-themed movies, and the growing community and industry of prepping. People who are preparing for either a climate-related disaster or an Armageddon scenario. 20 years ago, preppers were generally considered paranoid conspiracy theorists that were overreacting to sci-fi movies. But in recent years, with the increase in climate-related disasters and global tensions, the prepping industry is picking up. What concerns me is that the warning of an apocalypse that I learned of as a child is now an action plan for our global leaders. Apparently, the billionaire bunker business is booming.
Here in the heartland of rural Kansas, one man is offering millionaire preppers a high-tech way to avoid the apocalypse. Welcome to the Survival Condo. This former Cold War missile silo is now a luxury bunker built for the super rich. Going off the grid no longer means giving up a lavish lifestyle. Think of it kind of like Cribs in camo. From the outside, the security cameras, armoured guard and 8-ton steel doors are the only sign you're entering a top-secret facility. In fact, I'm here to meet the man behind the condo, Larry Hall, who's going to give me a full tour. Inside, this 54,000 square foot complex boasts everything you could need to live through the end of days. The survival condo is spread across 15 floors and goes 200 feet underground. At the top, under the dome, are the recreation facilities like the pet park and climbing wall. Underneath that are the mechanical level, medical bay, and food stores, with luxury living quarters spread across the next 7 floors. At the bottom, a further 4 floors house a classroom, a library, a bar, a gym, and a cinema.
We live in a money-oriented world. We equate money with success and success with intelligence. Consequently, it's the billionaires that are the true decision makers and influencers in almost every country. So they have the access and ability to fix all the problems we have caused. However, all the necessary changes that are required for us to move forward to a sustainable planet are withheld in order to maximize the profits generated from the current problems. You would think that those who have more than enough would see the good sense in maintaining the planet and the people on it, those that they consider their resources. Sustainability is the measure of success for any operation. It appears that our idea of a plan for sustainability is to take this beautiful planet, filled with beautiful people, and destroy it so that a few billionaires can live in a hole while the others fly off in a rocket to Mars. Well, I think it's time for a new and better plan. And I ask you to use your thoughts, energy, money, and votes to support the changes needed for us to achieve unity and peace, and for us to retain the ability to enjoy the beauty of our planet. Let's create a new and better plan. Thanks for listening. I hope you find this content useful and you will share it with others. Subscribe to our channel for information on other critical issues and how you may contribute to the greater good. And please leave us your comments and recommendations below. Let's build a better world together.